Hey y'all. So I'm back today with another subject that I just want to talk about a little bit. I'm not going to be too long-winded about it because it is a kind of like a touchy subject. Um, but it's on my heart, so I want to talk about it. And this what my channel is about. Whatever I feel like I want to talk about, I want to talk about. Um, so how y'all doing today? I hope everybody's doing good. Whoever's tuning into my videos, I hope everybody's doing good. Um, so let's talk about unhealed trauma. Yes, unhealed trauma. I know that's a touchy subject. So again, I'm not gonna, be long with it. It's just what's on my heart today. If you hear a little bit music in the background, I got some R&B because, keeps me upbeat. I love me some old school R&B music. Yes, it's my jams. It's my jam. So today, let's talk about unhealed trauma a little bit, just a little bit. Um, a lot of people are dealing with unhealed trauma. You know, there are different types of trauma. Um, I don't even think I really want to get into the different types of trauma today. Um, I just want to just talk about if you know people in your life that's dealing with trauma, give them grace. That's all I want to say. Try to give people who you know for a fact that's dealing with unhealed trauma, try to give them grace. Um, a lot of people do not talk about their trauma that they've dealt with in the past. Most people don't talk about their trauma that they had, in the past. What we do, we keep going, right? We keep going, we keep going, we keep going. Um, Again, there are different types of trauma. Whatever trauma you may have went through and how you feel about it is how you feel about it. Don't ever let nobody think that your trauma is not trauma, because what's trauma to you might not be trauma to them. You know, of course, myself, I have dealt with different traumas. Um, and in therapy, through therapy, it come out to me that I had trauma that I didn't even myself didn't realize was trauma. It was things that I couldn't let go. Again, I didn't realize it was actual trauma though, because again, like I said, we go through things, we don't realize it's trauma all the time. We just go through things and we keep going, right? Um, I just wanted to go on here and talk about that a little bit, just a little bit, because again, that's a heavy subject. And, I might do a later video later on, like really getting in deep, maybe even talking to you about my personal trauma. Just not right now, later on, you know, once I get more people tuning into me, like I said, I'm going to get more deeper into my personal life once I get a community built on here. But I just, me and a close friend of mine, we just was having a conversation earlier. Again, I'm not going to get into the conversation because it was deep, but it was on my mind to get on here and talk about it on my channel. I just want people to, if you are close with people who you know for a fact have trauma, I mean, trauma, that you know for a fact is trauma. Again, sometimes we go through trauma that we don't know is trauma. But if you know somebody been through trauma and you know it's trauma for real, I mean, real trauma, just try to give them grace. I'm not saying for you to let people walk over top of you now. No. But when people have trauma that they never even dealt with, that they don't even talk about, that they just brush off like it never happened, sometimes it gets taken out on the wrong people. Because guess what? They got that trauma that they never talk about, that they never dealt with, that they brush off like it never happened. And I know it happens a lot, especially in our community. Especially in our community. Like, that's just what it is. Thankfully, myself, like I said, I've been to therapy. I need to go back. Because guess what? Healing is a long process. Healing is a long process. The saying, time heals all wounds. Not for everything, baby. I don't believe that. I used to say it all the time. I used to think that. Now that I'm older, been through things, certain things, I don't think I'm going to ever heal from. However, you just learn to navigate through your life knowing that this happened, you know, that this thing, whatever it is, happened. You know what I'm saying? Again, everybody has different traumas. Everybody deals with their trauma different. Also, I don't feel as though you should ever, the way someone else deal with trauma and the way you might deal with trauma, that's just that. Don't ever try to downplay the way somebody else feels about their trauma. I do not agree with that at all. So if you're that person, I suggest you just please stop. Don't do that. Because just because that you and that person could have obviously kind of probably went through the same thing, could have went through the same thing, but you may deal with it differently. It might be harder on them than it is on you, right? So yeah, just try to think about that when you deal with people. When you know people have been through things, just try to, you know, again, give a little grace and don't try to dictate how you feel about what you went through on how another person feel on what they went through. Because guess what? You're two different people. You're two different people. Okay? So yeah, I don't know why I try to get on here without my glasses. I'm steady squinching my eyes. I'm sorry, y'all, but yeah, I just don't like that green little glare. But I think that's just it's just like that. With this ring light thing, you know. But yeah, again, trauma, unhealed trauma. It's a lot of it. It's a lot of people that's dealing with it. And it's a thing. Just know it's a thing. And try to give people grace. Just try to give people grace. I know it's hard sometimes because, again, we expect people to act the way we act or react to certain things the way we might react